still save it. I'm going to start recording. Sorry, my computer's running a little slow.
I
All
think
right,
it's
great.
almost time. Ready to go.
Yes, we'll get started so we can get everything in. Welcome to Digital District Day. This is your K-5 English Language Development ELD section. Thank you so much for joining us. And we just want to make sure, are you in the right session? This session is for educators who work with K-5 English learners. So if you feel you're here in error, you could go ahead and move to another location. I'm thinking it's really easy in Digital District Day today. All right, so we'd like to know who's in the room. We know we have a lot of people in the room, but if you would write your name, your site, and a word or phrase to describe your summer break, Daisy's going to read a few of those for us before we move on.
Let's see who's in the room.
The chat is only designated for Amy and
Daisy, just send
Daisy.
it to me. Send it to my way.
Yeah. Yeah, so we said when you're writing in the chat, you write to Daisy, and then Daisy's going to read it out.
Yeah, because Amy is presenting. She probably cannot see the chat right now.
We tried to change the chat to everyone, and it didn't give me that option.
I see Katie, Jamie, Lori, Jamie, Rachel, Kate. Hi everyone. Good morning. Hi Anna Maria. Hi Marisa. Hi Monica. Good morning everyone. Hi Helen, Janice. Oh, it goes so fast, moves so fast. Stephanie, Christy, Elaine. Hi Elaine. I saw some familiar faces too. I'm so excited. Good morning from Spring Valley. Hi, Katie. Hi, Sophie. Hi, Joy. Keep coming. Send me your name and your school.
Thank you all for coming today.
Yep. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Dan. Thank you for letting me know. Hi, Jay. Good morning. Hi, Neela. Hi, Shakari. Hi, Paula. So great. I think, Amy, we can move on to talk about the our meeting norms. But if you haven't typed in your information, please let us know. So I will start from the virtual meeting agreement. We would love to see your face, but for today, it's okay if you want to turn off the camera, and then mute yourself when you are not talking, so that we won't have accidents, some outside noise coming in. And then follow participation agreement based on the activities. When we are sharing as a whole group, then you share in the whole group. The other side, meeting norms. I know that you must have seen it in every section, but I have to read through it. Keep equity at the center for the students and adults. Be part of the solution and be engaged and present. So yes, we have all these norms down. Then we are ready to go. Amy, do we want to practice raising hands so that we know automatically that person who has the hand raised will pop up to the front so we can see them?
That's a great idea. So, sorry. So raising your hand is in the reactions at the bottom of your Zoom screen. So, great. Thank you.
Yes, if you click on that raise hand, then we will be able to see you, because there are so many participants. But remember to click it again, click raise hand again. Your hand will go away, so it won't be kept like being pulled onto the top. So thank you for practicing. Those who have your hand raised, you can erase it now by clicking to the raise hand button again. That will erase your raised hand. Thank you. Good.
So just one more thing, do we have an interpreter with us for American Sign Language? You could just come off mute and let us know. Okay, so we turned on the closed captions and we're gonna move on. And just a reminder, if anything comes up, you can message Daisy in the chat and she will let me know. All right, so our foundational practices for San Francisco Unified, we are anti-racist in our practices. We are focused on deeper learning toward the graduate profile. We have a foundation of our wellness and authentic partnerships, and we provide consistent structures for support every day for our students. Our mission is every day we provide each and every student the quality instruction and equitable support required to thrive in the 21st century. We do this through 3 buckets: access and equity, student achievement, and accountability. Okay, so Daisy and I, who we are from the San Francisco Unified Multilingual Pathways Department. We are educators of multilingual students. We provide guidance for teaching bilingual and or multilingual students who are learning English. We support biliteracy and dual language immersion and world language in K-5 schools. My name is Amy Youngs, and there's my email if you need to contact me, and my colleague Daisy.
Hi, everyone. So my email is there, so I'm not going to spend time introduce myself. So when you have questions, just shoot me an email.
All right, great. And I embedded links throughout the presentation for you. That is a link to our department website with SFUSD. So you could do some self-exploration after the hour that we're together. Okay, so today's outcomes, we are going to be talking about the importance of English language development. That's what it means when you hear ELD. We'll be talking about the difference between designated and integrated ELD. And we'll be sharing ELD best practices and resources to launch the school year. Okay, today's agenda. We're starting with the why, the purpose of English language development ELD. The what, integrated and designated ELD, and the how, your best practices and resources for English language development. Okay, why is English language development, ELD, important for English learners? Okay, we're going to start with some of our terminology that you're going to hear on your campuses and in your departments. When you hear the term ELs, that means English learners, or ELLs, English language learners. Now, these are more technical terms that we use in meetings and teacher to teacher. When we are working with students and in classrooms, we use more inclusive, responsive, and holistic terms. We use multilingual and bilingual learners. We use emergent bilinguals and developing bilinguals. And I embedded a link to the California English Learner Roadmap at the bottom of the page if you'd like to learn more about what the state of California is doing to support our English learners. Okay, some demographics about SFUSD. We are 27% English language learner. And there's an embedded link. It's the facts at a glance where you could learn more about our demographics. Oh, do we have, Daisy, I wasn't sure, there were 2 participants that raised their hands that just, but I'm not sure.
The hands were raised earlier. So
Oh,
I
okay, got it.
yeah.
Okay, I just got a message. Okay, I'm gonna
Maybe
move
Marie and Connie, we can practice erasing the hand by going to the reaction again and click on the same button. Thank you.
All right, great. All right, so these are some of the terms that you're going to hear on our SFUSD campuses, okay? That we wanted to go over today to make them very clear for everyone. When you hear the term EO, those are students who their foundational language is English or American Sign Language, okay? That means English only. If you see TBD/NS on your data in Illuminate or on other documents, That means to be determined, not specified, that they're foundational if they need English learner services, and that they need to take the initial LPAC. Okay, if you see IFEP, that means that the student was found to be initial fluent English proficient. They are not an EL, and it was determined when they took the initial LPAC when they enrolled with San Francisco Unified. If you see the term EL, that means that the student took the initial LPAC and they were found to be an English learner. Okay. The first 1 to 2 years, the student is tagged a newcomer. Then in years 3, 5, they are tagged developing. And then if they are still, if they have not passed the summative LPAC in 5+ years, they are tagged long-term English learner. The last term is that you might see is RFEP. That means reclassified fluent English proficient. Okay, that means that the student took the summative LPAC and they were found to be fluent English proficient and are reclassified, and they do not take designated ELD. All right, so this is just another format to make it really clear about the English learner journey in SFUSD. So first, there's identification. When a student is enrolled, their family fills out a home language survey. And if they put a language other than English, then that activates the student to take the initial LPAC, okay? And some students are found initial fluent English proficient after taking the initial LPAC, and they are tagged IFEP. They do not take designated ELD. Okay, they are not ELLs. But some students are found that they need the support of designated and integrated ELD, and they move on to services for ELs. So this group, these students must receive designated ELD until they are reclassified. Now, parents may opt out of designated EL class, but they cannot opt out of taking the LPAC. Okay, the next part is reclassification. Students who meet the criteria for reclassification are redesignated as RFEP. And the LPAC 4 scores are set by the California Department of Education. Now, later on in the presentation, we'll have an area to do with the LPAC where you could do some self-exploration. Finally, we have the seal of biliteracy in SFUSD. So in high school, students can earn a seal of biliteracy by demonstrating proficiency in English and another language. And it's really cool. The students get a medal. And last summer, we actually had parents coming to pick up their medals for their students that they weren't able to get on campus.
Amy, we have a question in
Oh,
chat.
sure.
Yeah, do we have the most updated LPAC scores at this point?
Yes, so you will have them when you get back to campus. And your teams on campus, your administrators and your instructional coaches, they'll be working with you through the data will be uploaded to Illuminate, and you'll be making the designated ELD classes that way. So I know we have some new teachers on our presentation, so I'll be going deeper into that later in the presentation. All right. Okay, so why are we providing these supports for our English learners? It's our foundation is equity, and we are providing these supports because all students deserve access to grade level instruction. For English learners, they need specific language instruction. In order to acquire the language skills, they need to independently access the grade level curriculum. Now, we don't have time to watch this video today, but Lau versus Nichols is a very important case that set the foundations for our supports for English learners. So I embedded a link there for you and gave some information about Lau versus Nichols there. All right, so we're going to take a pause from me talking too much, and we're going to ask you through the chat, what do you know and what do you want to know? Okay, because we have a wide range of expertise in the room. I see a lot of familiar faces and I see a lot of new faces. So what do you already know about integrated and designated English language development, ELD, and what do you want to know? And Daisy will be monitoring the chat and reading out some of your responses.
And the questions are posted in chats already.
Thank you, Daisy. Oh, Daisy, are you seeing, folks might not. Oh, I see. Okay, so Mr. Gonzalez, I want to know what integrated ELD looks like at a site that does not hold designated ELD. Okay, that's a great question. So we will be watching, we'll be working with integrated ELD later in the presentation. You're going to get to see a video. All right, is there anyone else that wants to?
Christy has another question too. I'm trying to like not to interrupt and answer it on the side just directly to Christy. Christy, I'm not forgetting you. I'm trying to like type to you now.
Upstairs. Yeah. All right, well, we'll move on now because a lot of, if you do hold questions about integrated and designated ELD, we will be answering the question. There's parts of the presentation that might answer those questions. All right. Just close the chat. Okay, so this part of our presentation is about designated and integrated English language development, ELD. And I've embedded a link to the California ELD standards. Please save this presentation because you can circle back to it during the school year. It's a big document, but there's a lot of good information in it. All right, so first I'll be going over the difference between designated and integrated ELD. So designated ELD is a specific protected time during the school day. It is 30 minutes of instruction for English learners, and they are grouped by proficiency level without EO students in the room, okay? And it is legally required, okay? The focus is language and learning about how English works. Our lessons are grounded in the California ELD standards, and the link was on the previous slide. Integrated ELD happens throughout the school day within the regular classes and all the content areas, from math, science, social studies to PE. And the content of the lesson is presented to the students with language support. Now, the standards are in tandem with the Common Core state standards, our next generation science standards, and our math standards. Okay, and all campuses, if you have English learners, we are required to provide 30 minutes of designated ELD until our students are reclassified. And these designated ELD classes are grouped by proficiency level, according to the LPAC. Daisy, I think someone might have a question.
Yes, actually, we do have a lot of questions.
Oh, a lot of questions.
A lot of questions.
It's a great time.
Yeah.
We're making good time. We're at 11.
Okay, good.
11:30, so we still have 45 minutes.
Tina asked if teachers can use their own resources like Scholastic News. And I answered it already, yes, but Wonders is always available.
Oh, yeah, so you can bring in scaffolds and resources, but our curriculum for designated ELD is the Wonders curriculum. And you will receive a teacher edition and you get workbooks for your English learners during designated ELD. but that will happen later in August because, and I'll talk about this later, because your Synergy class list has to talk to the system in McGraw-Hill that is our Wonders curriculum. And then we load your class lists there so you can see your students, and there's a student portal, and it's a whole system of curriculum for you. But you can
Another
definitely layer in other, I love Scholastic News.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And another good question is that are the requirements staying the same, like 30 minutes daily and no more than 2 levels of students proficiency in the same classroom?
Yes.
Are the requirements the same?
Yes, those are our guidelines for designated ELD. Exactly. All right. Do we have a hand up? I see Linda Tran. I think you can come off mute. Did you have a question?
Yes, I see that it's 30-minute designated ELD,
Yeah.
and I'm wondering if it's possible to have English only learners in the class while we're teaching like one band of ELD students or two. I noticed that, in the past, depending on like our student and where they're placed, we might have more English only students. And it was a challenge, like, figuring out where they would be placed.
That's a great question. So, Linda, if you wouldn't mind lowering your hand just so I don't see it, so I don't get distracted later, I'm gonna answer your question. So, designated ELD is group by proficiency level according to the student's LPAC. And there are no more than 2 LPAC levels in a designated ELD classroom. We do not add English only students into the room because their foundational language is English. And this is the intervention time for our English learners. So you can see if you have someone who speaks English already, who's English only, and you mix them with ELs for designated ELD, then they're not getting their intervention time. And there are, so there's, we're going to be working a lot with campuses this year to iron that out. So thank you so much for that question, because we're constantly, going back to the guidelines and working with campus to get it set up correctly.
Lori has a very great comment,
Yeah.
but I would love Lori to like elaborate a little bit. Lori mentions that some of the students are not having access to the correct level of their ELD learning. So is that your past experience, Lori? Can you speak up so that we can understand how we can answer your question?
Hi, Daisy, it's Lori.
Yes. Yes, please.
Yes, I'm concerned because, there wasn't enough support last year to give the LPAC to all students at my school site. And so many students haven't been leveled. I don't know what the last score we have for them is. And how do we deliver the correct instruction to those students when we don't have their levels?
Thank you so much. That's a really important question, and I'm so glad that you brought that up and came off mute to talk about it. So this is why it's really important to save my email and connect with your instructional coaches on campus. And if you don't have an instructional coach, connect with your AP or principal to connect with me, because I can work with your campus and look at the data on Illuminate and help you to make your designated ELD classes. So please keep my
Thank
email.
you.
Yeah, please keep my email at the end of the session. And I can jump on Zoom after hours with campuses, whatever is needed to get designated ELD set up correctly on campuses this year. We've got you.
Another question from Johnny. He asked whether first and third grade students can be in the same group. Does it have to be like first and second grade together, third and fourth grade together?
It can be a mix like that because every campus is so different for the number of English learners. I think the best thing is to email me directly and I can look at your data. I was an instructional reform facilitator at Bessie Carmichael, and I'm really good at downloading all of the English learners and grouping them so I can help your campuses with that. Because Illuminate can get a little tricky if you don't know.
Especially when we are talking about proficiency level, it doesn't have to
Yeah.
be grade by grade.
Okay, we're gonna
sorry,
take one more question and then move on to the next slide. Johnny, did you have a question?
Yes, actually, please. Actually, it wasn't a
Yes.
grade. I should have been more specific levels,
Oh.
like
Level 1 and level
three,
3. Sorry, I misunderstood
level
you.
1 and level 3, and or is it okay to, because at some sites, Lakeshore, at times we group them like
Oh.
1, 2s, and 3, 4s. That's I'm just kind of curious.
Oh,
You gotta let it work.
yeah, we're gonna work with campuses this year to set that up so that there isn't a mix of a level 1, because that's really a newcomer student with a level 3 who's getting ready to move towards reclassification. So we'll you have my you know me now, you have my email, so definitely I would love to connect with people, my colleagues over email and Zoom to get our designated ELD set up correctly this year. All right, so this is another way to, my amazing supervisor, Miguel Deloza, made this. I love this graphic because it does get tricky. I've been working with designated and integrated ELD for years as a teacher and an instructional coach, and now with multilingual pathways. And it does get tricky. And I think this graphic is really a good way to look at it. So designated ELD is teaching new language and previewing new content. And we are reviewing and practicing familiar content using the California ELD standards to guide instruction. So our English learner students are learning to use language and they're learning how English works. Now, if you look to the right, integrated ELD is teaching new content in math, science, social studies throughout the school day. You're previewing new language and reviewing and practicing familiar language with your English learners. Okay. And your standards are the Common Core, the math standards, our next generation science standards in tandem with the California ELD standards. Okay, so we have a new page this year that we heard you, and we have more videos that are mostly SFUSD teachers teaching ELD. Okay, so there are integrated and designated ELD classroom instruction videos at the link on the right. Okay, and we are going to watch one of them today. So as you are watching the video, I want you to think about, what do you notice about the teacher's best practices? And what are the students doing during the lesson? And we're going to ask you to jot some notes down as you're watching the video. And we apologize, we had breakout rooms set up for this. It would have been a much better way to do this, but they are not working on the digital district platform today, we heard. So Daisy and I adjusted the presentation. All right, so we're going to watch a designated ELD lesson. So this is one of my old colleagues from Tenderloin Community School, Christina Weezar, and she is not working with the Wonders curriculum, but she is teaching her designated ELD class, okay? And Daisy, can you put the questions in the chat?
Done already.
Oh, you're amazing, thank you.
I will be able to identify pronouns that refer to people or things mentioned in previous sentences. Okay, so today we're really looking for pronouns that were in previous earlier sentences. Okay, so that's our big job today. So your exit ticket is going to have to do with this idea of pronouns. So do you remember me telling you back a couple of weeks ago how I was in the kindergarten classroom? Yeah. And the kids were writing stories, and it was, my mom read to me. My mom made dinner. Quiet them if you remember that. Yeah. And I was thinking like, wow, for Kay, that's pretty amazing. But as the reader, got a little boring, remember? And we talked about how maybe if they added a pronoun, it would make their writing a little stronger. So instead of my mom, they can switch it to she. Exactly. So you've just figured out one of the pronouns. They could have switched it to she for that second one. Now, do you remember our Grand Canyon story? Okay. I pulled out because I want to remind you that what we're doing today is building on what we've already done. So this was a sentence from our Grand Canyon story. Hold on, do I want that one? I want this one. Okay. If you'd like to read it with me, you can. If you don't want to, then just follow with your eyes. People come from around the world to hike the dusty trails. They take boat rides down the Colorado River. Okay, so this author is not like those kindergartners. This author has put a pronoun. So do you see the pronoun that they chose? Think. Talk. Yeah. Pronoun they chose. They chose.
Yeah, first they put people in the club that I'm then that's a pronoun. They take boats right down the river.
All right, so we have another video for you. So that was Christina Weezar, and she writes, we have some pre-made designated ELD lessons for you this year that she has written. So I'll be talking about that later. Oops, sorry. Wait, hang on. Oops. Okay. So next, we have an integrated ELD video for you. And this is the assistant principal at Cesar Chavez, Angelica, and she's doing a math talk. Okay. And both videos can be found in the link to videos of ELD classroom instruction for your self-exploration later. And I wanted to add a slide about integrated ELD because there's a lot of questions around how to support English learners. And these are some examples, like if you're teaching a science lesson, you're using sentence frames to activate student thinking. In a math talk, there's a very clear process poster. And the 3-read protocol is a way to support your English learners during integrated ELD. All right, so this is a math talk, and this is the assistant principal at Cesar Chavez.
Read over the problem quietly in your head. We're going to look at it together in a minute. All right, let's come back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you didn't get all the way to the end of the problem, that's okay. We're going to read it together. We're going to take this first chunk here. This problem is all about painting a wall. Okay, so the goal for today is to restate the problem. Sorry, we're going to restate the problem. So let's read just this first chunk together. Everybody with me? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Nicole was helping to paint a wall at a park near.
Before we even talk to anybody, what I want you to do, see this part on your paper where it says notes? I want you to put down what's the situation about so far and any important quantities that you see. So take a minute to just jot that down. What's the situation about? What are your quantities?
And then a bit is left over. This part was the red, and the yellow was.
What important notes do I need here? What's the situation about here? Yeah, Katie, what's the situation about?
The situation is about is about Nicole and painting a wall.
Okay, Nicole's painting a wall. Yeah? Do we all agree with that? We agree, yes? No? Let me see. Yeah, we agree? All right. Nicole's painting a wall. If you have nothing written down, this should be on there. This is what's happening. So Nicole's painting a wall. All right. Do we know anything important about that wall? Do we have any quantities in there? Because I haven't heard any quantities yet. Yeah.
It's supposed to be red.
It's supposed to be red. Now you said supposed to be. So what is
Oh, sorry.
She began coloring the wall because she messed up and that was yellow and it's supposed to be red.
all right, let's come back.
All right, so those videos are embedded in the presentation, and it's a 9-minute video, so you could do a little self-exploration and watch that later. But we're gonna have some reflection time. This was supposed to be our breakout room. But what do you notice about the teacher's best practices in the designated ELD lesson and the integrated ELD lesson? And what are the students doing during the lesson? So we're going to ask participants to please share your reflections in the chat. Direct them towards Daisy, please, and she'll read them out. Oh, Austin is with us. Thank you, Austin. He works at Tenderloin to see Miss Weezer. I love it. Thanks for being here, Austin.
I'll start to read some of the comments.
Oh, okay.
Best practices, but they're moving so fast. Best
Oh.
practices, whole class reveal goal before lesson. And then someone say use hand gestures. And then students repeat after the teachers. I like how she used hand movements. Clearly stated learning objectives in the designated ELD lesson. Having students restate lesson objectives. The teachers using hand signal, first video. Teacher used many visual cues with arms and hands, turn and talk. The students are quarterly reading the objectives of the ELD lessons, choral reading. Students think, pair, share. Both teachers are very engaging. Students are attentive. Examples, visuals, hand gestures. With hand gestures, and the teachers gave them options if they felt comfortable to read aloud or not. I noticed she wrote the objectives, but in today's opening session, they seem to say we shouldn't do that anymore. Oh, let me pause on that. So Amy, should we still be writing down the objectives?
Oh, the language objective?
Yes.
Oh, so you'll get, when you return to school, your principal will have their principal expectations, and they will state that clearly what they want on the board when they come into the room. So when I was a classroom teacher, I had to put my objectives for the day with my schedule and my language objectives. Oh, go ahead, Latrice.
I just wanted to add on, I'm wondering if it's in response to our keynote speaker this morning, and the way that I interpreted what he was talking about in terms of having the student learning objectives on the board is that it needs to be in a student's language. So you could totally turn the learning objectives into I can statements, or in statements that are closer to basically responses that students will understand, like turning the objectives without all the edu-speak in there and making it in a way that the students can internalize the learning goal.
Awesome. Thank you, Latrice. All right.
And I think it can really turn it to be really helpful, realistically helpful for the students.
I always think what's helpful for me as an adult, if I was sitting in a classroom, the objectives, a friendly objective.
Let me read one more. Designated, okay. The teacher reads slowly, chunking the parts, emphasize vocabulary, trigger students' memory using material learned before or introduced prior.
Great. So much knowledge and expertise in the room. I love it. All right. So this is a really important part. We have about 20 minutes left. And so we're going to go over ELD best practices and resources. And as you're exploring the resources, we want you to think about what ELD practices are you doing already? On some campuses, you've already been teaching designated ELD, or you might be a new teacher. So what ELD practices do you want to work on? Okay, we're going to give you time to explore the resources, and then you could write questions or reflections in the chat, and please direct them towards Daisy and she'll read them out. Okay, so this is very exciting. We have a new landing page, and I'm going to ask everyone to click on the landing page link at the top. I'm not going to, just because it flips me out of my presentation. But if you could take a moment and click on the landing page, we're going to give you some time to explore and ask us questions about the landing page. This is your one-stop place for designated ELD and for supports for designated and integrated ELD. So you can see at the link, per your grade level, you have your launching the year lessons for your ELD. And then you also have pre-written Google slide lessons based on Wonders curriculum that you can use to teach your designated ELD class. And again, that is your 30-minute class with only your English learners. There are no English only students in the room. It's your English learners, and they are grouped by proficiency level based on the LPAC, and no more than 2 levels in the classroom. And you have my email, so I can, if your campus is having, if it's tricky setting that up, you can email me, and I have access to all the data on Illuminate, so I can look at your school for you. But yeah, take a minute and check out the lessons. I encourage you, if you're a first grade, second grade teacher, to click on the link and look at what we have there for you. There's a scope and sequence that has the objective. The book is on a Google slide there. There's, I loaded videos of the books. We had the amazing Yoonji Chai and Christina Weezar, who you saw earlier in the video. They wrote the lessons over the summer, so they were very busy. And then also at the bottom of the page, there are different resources, collaborative structures, there's information on the LPAC, there's newcomer lessons. So Rachel, it looks like you have your hand up if you want to come off mute, and we'll start answering questions.
Thank you. So I'm a special ed teacher, and so I teach 3 through 5.
Great.
And so if I have 2 students that are in a different wide range, it has to be a separate session for each student. Is that what you're saying? Like one is based on their LPAC scores?
Yes. So Rachel, are you have a classroom and it's a range of grades 3 through 5?
Yes, I teach the mod severe class.
Oh, okay. All right. So you should probably email me directly and I'll help you set up, because we'll have to look at the data for your specific students and see if they can be mainstreamed into the designated ELD, or what supports we can set up for your classroom, for your English learners.
I see. Okay, so then the Wonders curriculum is more for Gen Ed.
No, Wonders curriculum is your designated ELD curriculum to teach the 30 minutes. Now your situation is a little different, so you and I can connect over email. I'm going to give you my email at the end. Yeah, we'll take a look at who's in your classroom this year.
Okay, thank you.
Great.
Amy, I have a few questions in chat.
Okay, great.
Someone really commented that this landing page is awesome, amazing, but
Yay!
do we have something for integrated ELD units?
Oh, so Integrated ELD. So I'm going to give you an example. Okay. So you have your math curriculum from SFUSD. You have the math Common Core state standards. Integrated ELD is really when you're setting up a math talk, you're providing sentence frames. You are deliberately pairing students based on their language proficiencies in the room so that they can really practice English. So integrated ELD, we want our English learners to be talking a lot, practicing English, working with English only students. So you're really setting up the collaborative structures during integrated ELD. So that's your reading workshop, your writing workshop, math, when you're teaching science, social studies, even PE. I worked with, and the health teachers, I worked with the health teachers last year, setting up supports for English learners during their lessons. And we talked about sentence frames during the lesson, bringing in actual objects that they could touch, total physical response. You saw Miss Weezar doing that. She's going like this when she's teaching, and having the students using the hand gestures that we'll go over later. All right, great. It looks like Kimmy has a question.
Hi, I'm exploring the the landing page or with all the different things that you sent. Thank you so much. I was wondering, uh, since like since we have students with different ELD levels, um, how do teachers usually take this one lesson and like change it up for all the different level students in their class, or ELD designated students?
That's a great question. So your designated ELD, when the data comes in and your teams at school start forming the designated ELD classes, and they'll ask you which class, your team will come together and decide which class you're going to teach. You might not have all of your homeroom students. So you'll have a mix of students from other classrooms, and they will be all around the same proficiency level. So
I
Kimmy,
see.
what grade are you teaching?
I teach fifth, but I'm the only fifth grade teacher in my school, and there's one fourth and two thirds. So, like, if we mix them up, is it
Yeah.
okay? Like, which one would I pick for if I had like a mixture of?
Oh, sure. Yeah. You know what? That's a great question. And you and I should, because it's all based on student need.
Okay,
So you have my email. I can look at your data. And do you have an instructional coach on campus?
not that I know of.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I can work with your team to form those classes, and then you could
Okay.
pick which lessons would fit the needs of your students.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Amy, we have another question in chat. So if the kids are level 1 and 2, what
Yep.
grade level wonders books should they use?
Oh, yes. So again, it all depends on who is in the room. So we really have to use our Illuminate program, look at our student data, and then make instructional decisions around that. But the good thing about this landing page is once you know who is in your designated ELD classroom and you look at their data profiles, you will be able to make some instructional decisions around which grade level to pick. If it doesn't fit, like if you're a first grade teacher and you feel like the curriculum doesn't fit, and you can always email me to help you flush that out, because as an instructional coach, that's what I do every day. And I can, you'll be teaching during the day, so we could, Zoom makes these meetings very easy, so we could jump on after school hours.
I think you, Amy, you answered that the second part of the questions earlier already. The
Okay, great.
question is, how do we correlate the LPAT level with the Wonders grade level?
Oh, great. Yes. So it will be clearer when you meet your kids, if and you get to know them and you see their data, if the LPAC, if the Wonders workbook that you get from Multilingual Pathways fits the needs of your students. it's not always going to fit the needs of your students. And then we can work together and with your instructional coaches on campus to adjust the resources and curriculum within Wonders that you're using. I mean, you might have the newcomer class, and my colleague Yunji Chai, she's amazing. She's the assistant principal at Lawton now. She wrote, if you click on the newcomer tab, she wrote the newcomer lessons there, so you could use those. All right, we are at 12:05 and we go till 12:15. Daisy, are there any more questions in the chat that, or can I move on?
There's another one, just came
Okay.
up. What if I get second grade Wonders book, but my students need a first or third grade book?
That's a great question. That happened last year. And so it's really important that that I connect with your instructional coaches and teams on campus, so that if you feel like your workbooks don't meet the needs of your students, that we can adjust that and send you different resources. So it's really, you know, we have a few weeks before we start designated ELD, about the third week of school. So we have a few weeks to get it set up. And you might need to adjust later on to the resources and maybe the workbook that you're using. So, but we are connected now, and you can tell your teams at school about me. So I'm the person that helps you with getting your designated ELD set up.
There are a few more.
Okay.
Brian wants to confirm the landing page that we are showing, that each grade level will continue to be updated.
Yes, that's a very good question, because you saw that in October, so it took all summer for Miss Weezar and Miss Chai to write those lessons. And I worked on some of them during the spring, editing and loading them. So we hope to keep building lessons onto the landing page, but we will be working with schools to really access the Wonders curriculum and the teacher edition and the workbooks. So you will have resources to teach designated ELD.
Way beyond September, right? So
Yeah.
don't worry.
Yeah.
I have a question. This is a good one. Like, which lesson did Christina write? Like, what materials, I'm assuming, what material did she use? That is very engaging, and even more so than Wonders. Do
okay.
you happen to know what she used?
Yeah, so you know what I can do? I'll write myself a note, because she and I are friends, and I can ask her we can put a link on the video page that I shared earlier, because her video is there. I'll highlight the video for our group today, and then I'll load up her lesson. It might take me a little while because she's also trying to launch the year. So, but yeah, we'll get that loaded to the video page. That's a great idea. All right, we only have about 6 minutes left. So Daisy, would you mind if there's any other questions? I'm going to try to make some time at the end.
Okay, there is one right now.
Oh, okay, let's answer it quickly. And
Okay,
then
good.
Yeah.
Stacy said that the issues are more complicated. Like, one being that many students are not identified correctly because of the home language survey, like not filling it correctly. So, or some students are just being shied, so the result coming back is not accurate.
Oh, right. Would you email me directly? Was that Stacy?
Yes.
And we will work with you. And if anybody else is having tricky situations at their schools around that, because we have to loop in our supervisor, Miguel DeLoza, with questions like that.
I mean, for years and years, it's been a problem where some people don't put that they have a second language at home, and this kid clearly needs English. So we have to sort of just sneak them in to a group. And on the other side, there are some kids in kindergarten who just sit there and don't answer questions during the test. And it turns out their English is pretty good.
Okay. All right. So you have my email. Let's we'll address those issues as they come up. But thank you so much for sharing about that. We are working towards full implementation of designated ELD and set up correctly this year. So I'm here for the group. All
Okay,
right,
thank you.
we have about 6 minutes left. I'm going to so this is our Wonders designated ELD curriculum, and it's tied to the lessons on the previous page. Now, just a reminder, because this comes up every year for teachers who have been using Wonders, your access will be updated after August 17th because your Synergy class list need to talk to McGraw-Hill to their systems, and then we load your class list to McGraw-Hill. Okay. So if you are in team meetings and you hear teachers say they can't get access to Wonders, please share that with them, and we'll share that in other places. Okay, in the meantime, you could do some self-exploration around Wonders if you're new to Wonders or if you want to jump on and see if there's resources. We also buy the Wonders ELA program, so there's a lot of resources on Wonders for to use throughout the school day. There's graphic organizers and stories, but here is the login that anyone could log on to try Wonders, okay? And here is, for our newer teachers, this is information about logging onto Wonders. So Wonders is a McGraw-Hill program, and you'll see this icon in Clever to get to your Wonders. Okay, and here's some more information about logging into Wonders. You log on through Clever, and I put a general Clever login at that link. You always log on using your Google identity, your work Google identity with Clever, okay? And with all of our systems, when you log into Illuminate, you log in through Google. And it's good to make different aliases on your computer. Like I have my personal Gmail alias, and then I have my work Gmail, so they don't cross. I know there's issues with Illuminate with crossing with personal, and then it doesn't let you in. So there are links to start your access to Wonders, the temporary login. And then there's a video about setting the Wonders calendar, and that's after August 17th.
I have a teacher comment that
Oh, sure.
there is no teacher content for Wonders on Clever.
Okay, so it's under the McGraw-Hill icon. And not everyone is going to have access to Wonders. You have to be teaching designated ELD. And that
Or maybe next week, the icons will show up.
Oh, you don't see McGraw-Hill? Okay, so if that person can email me, I'll show them where McGraw-Hill is. Sometimes it's at the very bottom of your Clever.
I see.
So Clever's a little tricky. Yeah, so sometimes when I log on with teachers, and it's at the bottom. So we'll see what happened. And if you're a new teacher, it might not be loaded yet.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Maybe
yeah, it might be
next
that.
week before school starts.
Yeah.
But good news, like the teacher actually find the McGraw-Hill already.
Oh, great. Fantastic. All right, so here's another more resources for you, because this time goes so fast. There are videos, one pagers for resources. I want to encourage my instructional coaches that are here to pick out what your campuses need and share those with your teachers. And I'm always here for you to jump on Zoom with your teams at school. Please contact me.
I see. We will double check. Sorry, Amy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the teacher who found McGraw-Hill actually only found student content, not the teacher content, like the teacher's manual.
If they could, if that person could email me directly, I'll jump on Zoom with you and help you find that. Okay. Just send me direct messages over our Gmail, and I'll make sure that you are set up correctly.
Yeah.
We are almost at 12:15, so I'm going to start going a little fast. These are some other scaffolding considerations for you, and I embedded links to help you plan those out for your lessons. Okay, and we all know it's always good practice to provide graphic organizers, visuals, sentence frames throughout the school day for every student. And here's a link to our collaborative structures page. One of my favorites is lines of communication. When I would teach 5th grade designated ELD at Bessie Carmichael, we had a great time lining up to use this. So definitely access these collaborative structures, and you can use them throughout your school day. And another part of the supports that we provide our English learners is we use talk moves. One that we use a lot in multilingual pathways is agree and build on. And this is a page where you could teach your students these different hand signals. Okay, so we are almost to 12:15. So we answered a lot of what practices do you want to work on, and we answered questions in the chat. So I just want to share again that this is my email, and please email me. I do have access to your class lists on Illuminate, so I can look at your students and talk to you over Zoom. I'm here for you. I'm your K-5 English language development instructional coach. And I am able to meet with you after school hours, so just let me know. And our closing moves, today we have gone over the why, the purpose of English language development, the what, and that was integrated and designated ELD, and the how. We provided you with best practices and resources to launch your year to support your English learner students. All right, so we are at 12:15. I'm going to stay on if anyone has any additional questions, but folks can start logging off. We have, whoa, Daisy, we have 100 people on our presentation. Thank you all so much for coming today in support of your English learner students. We all know each other now, so please, and if you have any last words, if you want to put them in the chat. Oh, we see, oh gosh, thank you. People are saying thank you. We really appreciate you and that you came today. Oh, I see a lot. Tanya was just here. Hi, Tanya. See a lot of familiar friends, colleagues.
Hi, Amy.
Bye. So great to meet everybody. Will this presentation be available? Yes, it should be in the chat. Let's put the presentation back in. Please save the presentation. And then we will be having other PDs
throughout the year.
Throughout the year, yes. And you have there's the presentation again. Please put a shortcut to this presentation on your Google Drive. You can make a copy of it and use it for your personal needs. You can delete slides if you're an instructional coach. If you need any collaboration time with me over PD for your sites, just let me know. I have a question here. Will the actual video of this PD be available for us? I believe so. I believe they're going to have a Digital District Day page with all of the presentations on them. So teachers and school staff can go back and review the presentations. Thank you. Folks are saying thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, and we had someone who's a substitute who said it was very helpful. You can email me if you have any questions. I know that there are a lot of long-term subs, so I'm here for you.
Amy, I have a couple of questions. Is it okay if I ask?
Yes, we're going to stay on to answer more questions.
Okay, great. So can you show me disagree, the sign for disagree? Because we'll do it.
Oh, let's back up. Yeah, it's like this.
So it's toward you, not side to side.
Yeah. Oh, no, sorry. It's side to side. I don't use that very much.
Yeah. Okay, so it's side to side.
Yeah.
Okay, because that one, everybody gets that confused.
Oh,
okay.
yeah, me too. I always use agree. I'm so agreeable.
Okay, great. Okay, and then another question is, so kindergartens, we usually don't start until spring semester because we usually don't get the LPAC scores, but is that still okay to do that, or we just
Oh, so what school are you at?
Now?
Oh yeah, so Gordon J. Lau, you have a lot of ELs.
Yeah.
So I would put designated ELD in your schedule from day one, and you'll do it full class.
Do full class.
Yes. But definitely have that 30 minutes where students and if you come to our buyback day session on Monday, you should definitely come because we're doing a whole part on kindergarten designated ELD that you could start from the beginning.
Okay, great.
That's good for everyone. Yes.
And then last question is, oh my God, I just skipped it. What is my last question? I just forgot. Sorry.
You can email me.
Okay.
I look at every email. I don't have one unopened email on my email. So
Okay, thanks, Amy.
Nice to meet you.
Oh yeah. Last question. Yes. So are we required to use the curriculum, the Wonders curriculum, like to the T?
Yes, Wonders designated ELD is our curriculum for designated ELD, but you can layer in other supports.
We don't even have enough time in 30 minutes to do the Wonders.
Oh, well, I mean, it's our foundational curriculum, like our math curriculum, like the reading and our reading workshop. But we can talk more about that if you want to look at the lessons and you can show me what your team wants to use for designated ELD.
Okay, so are we still using the ones that you and Yunji started last time with the slide decks?
Yes, and Yunji rewrote them over the summer.
Okay.
They're beautiful. You should look at the kindergarten. And there's a launching units for kindergarten.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Thanks, Amy.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Hi, Sophia. Hi,
Hi,
Shafal.
Daisy. You look good. So do you, Amy.
Oh, thank you. I know it's so nice to see so many familiar faces.
Did you guys travel?
I did have some travel this summer. It was nice. I had a good
Cool.
summer. Daisy, did you?
Tahoe. That's the longest distance I have traveled.
Nice.
But
Well,
it was good.
Stop
It was
the
good.
recording. I'm
How
gonna
are
stop
you?
sharing. And oops.
I want to go back